Hey you, I'm the Queen of Shade. Welcome to the interview. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and hit my Cash App to support your favorite content creator. Now let's get to the interview. Mwah. The Queen of Shade.
Let me tell you something. You're a bougie bitch and your mama is too. Said you're a bougie bitch and your mama is too. You're a bougie bitch and your mama is too. Said you're a bougie bitch and your mama is too.
Salutations, Stufos. This is your fabulous leader, the Queen of Shade, coming at you with another special presentation. Moving full speed ahead with getting to know people that I have watched and admired on the internet for quite some time now, and vice versa. I'm bringing a lot of interesting people to this camera, to this safe space, to this conversation. It's not really an interview, it's a conversation. And having said that, I have someone who needs to put their stuff on Do Not Disturb, but he's someone very, very entertaining and amazing that you need to meet. So without further ado, I would like to introduce you all to Mr. Kid Lit.
What's going on, guys?
Hi. Look,
Hey.
child, today was crazy. We was getting love. We was running around. Things was going crazy today. I don't know what's going on. I was like, okay, I don't know what's going on. Then you know, it worked out. It worked out though.
My apologies. You know,
It's okay.
it's so funny. You kept telling me when we were communicating about like West Coast time, and I was trying to figure. I was like, do you think I'm in LA or something?
Oh yeah, I thought you were in LA.
No, I'm totally a New York kid. Like I was in New York. I actually was in Philly last night, and I know you're in Philly. I think, right?
Yes, I'm in Philly.
Yeah. So I actually came to DC today. I'm in DC currently. So.
Oh no, you know why? I don't know why. I just thought you were in LA, but like,
Yeah.
it's not even just that. I have a lot of people that are coming later on in the month that are LA on LA time. So like, whenever I give the time slots, I just automatically go 12 noon, 1:15, 2:30 Pacific Standard,
Right.
3 p.m., 4:15, 5:30. Like I just do it without even asking. Like
Correct. Yeah.
I
Which
liked
is
it the
good.
other way. I liked it the other way.
Oh, you liked it this way? Okay. I couldn't see you for a minute, so I was like, I want to see you.
Look at you messing up our aesthetic. So you're a New York boy.
I am Brooklyn, New York, all the
Are
way.
you serious? Were
That's
you
me.
raised there? Is that where you were born?
I was born and raised Brooklyn, New York. Yeah.
Kid, you a Brooklyn star.
A Brooklyn star? Oh, thank you.
You're a Brooklyn star. Wait a minute. I thought you was on the West. Like I thought you was on the West Coast.
Well, that's good. I guess the Hollywood vibes. Is it giving Hollywood vibes?
Yes. It's giving sunshine and beaches and shorts.
Really?
Yes.
You know what? I've gone to Miami a lot during the pandemic, so maybe you're seeing that footage.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought your behind was on the West Coast.
You look nice. Look at you.
Thank you. I tried.
Got a full face and everything on. I like the outfit. It's good.
Thank you. This is from Slick It Up. It's one of those.
What's Slick It Up?
Slick It Up. They make like fetish clothing. I bought this.
Oh, okay.
The back is out, if you can see.
Oh, look at that. Look at you.
The back is out.
Fetish clothing.
Yeah. When I first started my music career and I was releasing my first song, Round One,
Right.
I was going for the whole kind of like dom thing, so I just kind of kept the clothing. Yeah, I just kept the clothing. But today I'm like, what am I gonna wear? And I put it on because it was convenient, you know, even though it's very convenient because it has zippers in the front and in the back.
Yeah.
It's fetish clothing.
I love it. It's a good aesthetic for you.
No,
it's
but
good.
I love you with the blonde hair and the pink. You always in pink.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, the Pink Panther, baby. You know.
Yeah. Pink is what you do. Pink is what you live by.
Yes, pink is the color. Do you know the meaning behind that? Like,
no,
pink,
tell me.
why I choose it?
Tell me.
So, do you know what? Besides the color pink, do you actually know what pink is defined as, like in Webster's, like, you know, what the actual word means?
Get what it means. I'm sure I've seen it because I look up yellow and all that stuff. So yeah, tell me.
Yeah. So pink actually means like the best of its kind, like, you know, prime. It means like, you know, just fine, the finest. You know what I mean? So it's kind of weird because like if you look at my skin tone, I have like undertones of pink, just genetically. Like my parents are from the Caribbean and South America. Thank you, I appreciate it. Yeah. So anytime I wear pink, pink actually comes out in my undertone, which like somehow it just works. And I've always loved pink. It's always been my favorite color. Not the most masculine color, I guess, but I mean, you know how we are. Like,
hey, you like what you like.
Yeah. So in addition to it being like a really good color, the definition of pink means like prime, the best. So it's kind of with the brand of going with the Pink Panther.
And you are the best of the best.
Oh, thank you. You too. Look at you.
For those of you that don't know what we're talking about as we're praising each other, Kid is a musician.
Yes.
Kid is a very talented musician.
Thank you.
As you can hear from his voice, with an amazing voice and an amazing ability to create. I love your music.
Thank you so much.
When I tell you I love your music,
like
it's so fresh. Like it's so fresh. Like the word like we use in the hood, it's so fresh.
Yeah, so fresh, so clean.
Yeah, like that. Well, it ain't clean. It ain't clean. It's fresh.
Yeah, a lot of dirty versions of songs.
But you know what?
Like,
you know what? That's what I like. I like the versions of songs where the artist said exactly what they wanted to say.
Right.
Before they started thinking about the politics, the radio, the children. Yeah. I like the first, because that first
children. What about the children?
No, when I say children, I mean the little kids. I mean 5, 6, 7. Before you start censoring yourself, because you got little listeners and teeny boppers.
As I wear Rugrats.
Yeah. So I like that. I like the raw versions, and your voice is so amazing.
Oh, thank you. Yours too. Come on, everyone. This character voices. Character.
Yes, that's what it is. We have the ability to play other people. Yeah.
Right.
Good. So we got to talk more about this Brooklyn thing. So here we go on Do Not Disturb. He didn't do it.
You know what? I don't know how to even.
Listen,
how to like do that.
If it ain't broke, usually on the iPhone you can slide down the menu, and it's the little half moon.
Let me do that because I don't want.
It's a half.
People are calling me, and I don't want that to be a thing.
Yeah. If you see it's a half moon, it says focus.
Yeah. Do not disturb.
Yeah.
It won't interrupt the conversation again.
No, it won't.
Sorry about that. That's so annoying.
Okay, that is all right.
Okay.
That is
got it.
Right. So I want to start because I always start with where were you from and where, but what's so funny? That's what I love about New York, because New York is a melting pot. You can literally have someone live two people living side by side in New York, and one can be from Jamaica and the other can be from Russia.
That's true. I grew up like that. All my friends were Russian, Polish, and then Caribbean and Haitian, like everything,
Yeah. That is so amazing though, because but what I find is it makes for a better artist.
It does. It makes for better life experience.
Yeah, you guys are well-rounded. Yeah.
That's a fact. That's a fact. So what's your ethnicity?
I am part German Shepherd.
Oh.
With a little standard poodle and a little schnauzer. A little schnauzer. Say no, let me stop. My family is black. Like from what I know, black. But like there are African, like I heard I have descendants from Mali and places like.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, descendants from that, and my grandmother.
Like the spit test, the ancestor test.
And my grandmother, she has Cherokee Indian, and she has a lot in her too. It's like her hair, is different. Like it's really cool. So
I love that. Okay,
listen, after slavery, we just a bunch of mixed babies,
just all around. Yeah, that's what we are. All around.
Yeah, after slavery, we just all we're American now. Like it's so funny because when I go abroad and they ask me what's my nationality, they say to you, "Oh, you're American."
Yeah.
They don't say African American, Latino American, Haitian American.
They don't get into it. Yeah.
It's like, oh, you're American. Okay. And that's it. That's it.
Yeah, you from New York? That's what I get a lot. You from New
Yeah.
York? Like New York is its own independent, apparently, country. Everywhere you go,
Yes.
it's like you from New York.
Yes, that is. So tell me, with you growing up in New York, what was it like? You started to talk about your childhood being a melting pot. What was it
Yeah,
like, a young kid? Like, and it's a twofold question. What was it like growing up? But
yeah,
what caused you to come to music? Like, what was that kind
yeah.
of led you to music?
Well, music always like surrounded me. I mean, my dad is from the island of Tobago. It's a smaller island, off the coast of Trinidad. And music was a big part of his childhood. Like he grew up, raising animals and living off the land. And so, eating coconuts and mango. And it sounds crazy, but that's really how he grew up. I mean, because I've visited and I've seen the house and I've seen where he grew up and what he did. So like music was a big part of like, passing the time.
Yeah.
And same with my mom. She grew up in like the rainforest areas of Guyana. So she was in the jungle and all they had was really, I mean, they didn't have computers back then. They only had really radio. So, music came through, soca, calypso, Caribbean. So when I grew up in New York, I mean, I was going to like, the Labor Day parade, very young. I was going, have you heard of like the Eastern Parkway Day parade?
Uh-uh.
Okay, it's a big parade. They block off this. It's a parkway that goes all the way from like downtown Brooklyn straight down to like East New York.
Wow.
And they usually have all the Caribbean, like there are different trucks that come out. So like think about like Toronto's like Carnival, think about like, Trinidad or whatever carnival season you think about. Think about these trucks coming out and blasting music. I used to be on the block as a kid and they would be preparing these like, the girls are dressing up in the feathers and the big like garbs and just the costumes, they call it playing mass. And so music was always a part of that experience. Like there was a guy on the block who used to manage some artists, calypso artists, and I used to hear a lot of the Caribbean music. My father was really big into like Sparrow and Bob Marley and like a lot of these like reggae artists. So he played a lot of that stuff growing up. He was really into Proverbs, like the Bible, Proverbs, and quoted that a lot. So music surrounded me, and my dad would always like play the guitar. Like, I mean, he was decent. He would sing. My mom I grew up in church a lot. So it was like a Seventh-day Adventist church. So, I mean, music was a big part of that as well. So music was always around me. And the minute I decided to like, I came out the womb singing, really. Like my mom always laughed. She was like, you was always yelling around the house, screaming. Like if you're not making trouble with your sisters, you're screaming. Like I mean, I was just a music factory growing up. So I mean, I feel like music has been ingrained in me since the beginning, and here it is today. I'm now doing it professionally, but it's definitely been a part of my experience for a very, very long time.
You know what I heard? I heard literally that you had an amazing childhood.
I mean,
like
better
there was so much
than a lot.
experience. Like there was
Better
so much
than a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's always struggles and hardships and stuff that come with that, but I'm a positive person. I don't really focus on the negative, so the things that I remember from my childhood are mostly positive because that's what I like to hold on to. That's what keeps me motivated, that's what keeps me going, and that informs my experience like today. So I mean, amazing childhood. Let's go with that.
Yeah. So get this. So you grow up, music's around you, it's in your house, it's in your church, it's everywhere. And then you go to college. Where'd you go to college?
I went to Vanderbilt in Nashville, Tennessee.
So you left New York. See, that's another thing about New Yorkers.
Yeah.
You guys will go.
We're nomads.
Yeah, you guys will go. You guys will
Cheers.
Go. Yes. You guys will go. Like, no problem. How was Vanderbilt? Tell me.
It was amazing. I went to Music City. So I actually, growing up in New York, like you said earlier, I was surrounded by a lot of Eastern Europeans, so Russians and, Polish and Ukrainians and Croatians, like everyone you can imagine was a melting pot. I went to a lot of schools with them. So I went to John Dewey High School, which was in Coney Island. It was surrounded by a lot of the Eastern Europeans. And I was schooled a lot of Haitians and Jamaicans and Trinidadians and Guyanese. So a lot of that was great. But when I was applying for schools, I wanted to apply for scholarships. I did really well in school. Like I was a real studious kind of like guy, like, unsuspecting because I hung out with the cool kids and no one really knew what was going on, but I was doing my work. I was going home and doing my work. When the street lights came on, like I had to be inside. So I was actually like really focused. And when I started applying for schools, I was like, I want to like get to a place that's different from New York. Like I want to see the rest of, the United States. Like in New York, we have like an advantage in some ways. We're a lot more, I think, street smart than a lot of geographies because we're just so many people around us. But the disadvantage is that we don't see like the real Black experience. Like I've never experienced that until I went to Nashville.
Yeah.
And I wanted to like tap into that. I wanted to see like what Black Americans actually have gone through in like a place where slavery was like not abolished as soon as like the Northeast. So I was like, that informed my decision a lot. And I want to go far away from home. I was like, I don't want to go to the West Coast. Right. I don't want to go out of the country, not yet, but I could see myself somewhere in the South. So I applied to like Emory, Duke, like a bunch of places. And then Vanderbilt gave me the most money. So, I went to Vandy, and Nashville was amazing. Like, I mean, I could put it this way. There was a lot of racism, but it was kind of like nice and nasty racism. It wasn't like directly in your face because people were more polite than the Northeast. In New York, nobody says hello, good morning, nothing. Like, if somebody says hello, good morning, you think they're trying to rob you or something. Like you really don't. Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, you're from Philly, so like, yeah, you can't get too comfortable.
Yeah, don't talk on the street. It's like when you see somebody talking.
I mean, don't speak to me, like, because you might think somebody's trying to get you. But in the South, it's not uncommon for people, Black, white, whatever, Hispanic, to really say good morning, good night. But when I went to college, like the first year I went there, the Jenna 6 happened, which was like the hanging that happened in the at the school on the tree with the noose and stuff. And I couldn't understand what was going on. We started protesting as students, and I joined the efforts. And I remember being on West End Avenue, which is like the main avenue where Vanderbilt's located, and seeing like a pickup truck just pass by, just beeping the horn and yelling out slurs and obscenities, and then threw out like some like little cars on the floor. And I remember picking one of the cars. It was like a KKK business car, and I couldn't believe that was one of my first experiences like with racism, like in Nashville. Like I couldn't believe, one, that the KKK still existed, because I read about it in books. But in New York, we don't see that. We don't know much about that. You know what I mean? So when I saw that in Nashville, I think it was a place where it actually started, along with Stone Mountain, Georgia, like, some parts in Atlanta. So seeing it in person, I was like, wow, like Black people got to deal with this stuff. I was in New York, they would have probably beat that guy up.
Exactly.
Like, but in the South, they packing guns, so you don't even know what they're doing. So you got to be real careful how you move in the South. And it taught me a lot about really empathizing with my fellow Black Americans, because first generation Americans, mostly from the Caribbean, we don't really get that form of racism a lot, but being in it, they look at me as just Black. So it wasn't like I wasn't separated from my Black American brothers and sisters. So it was a good experience. I love Nashville. Nashville was fun. Party city, like real fun. I pledged a fraternity. So I had a really good experience with that as well. So yeah, Nashville was the city.
Please tell us what fraternity you pledged.
Yo, Noop, yo. I pledged Kappa Alpha Psi. I am a member of Kappa Alpha Psi. I'm a Noop. Like I pledged freshman year, second semester freshman year, which was very kind of uncommon, but common for my school because it was a predominantly white university. But I took full advantage. I mean, I jumped right in the middle. I was the picture of a Kappa. Like if you saw a picture of a Kappa, that was definitely me. I rode the coattails. I mean, I had a really good time, and I was at the white frats, the Black frats. We had a fraternity house. I was always there. I did a lot of stuff on campus. Like fraternity life was definitely like a really good decision. I did it mostly for the networking and the connections, and it turned out to be a real good advantage to me. But I loved Kappa life, and I still do. Like I'm real close with my brothers online. Like just spoke with them the other day. So yeah.
When I was in college, I was very interested in Kappa Alpha Psi myself.
Oh, for real?
But I didn't know that I was going to be bipolar and mentally ill and have to be medically withdrawn. So that took my dream. But I remember that, and that was a beautiful time. I'm glad that you had such a wonderful experience. And,
thank you.
But what I'm glad for is that even in the face of adversity, because even with anything could have happened with them riding down the street throwing out KKK, it could have opened fire and you would have been standing there. So I'm just very thankful that you got to see it, but at the same time you were safe.
Right. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, because my thing is, for people that follow you and are your fans, we wouldn't have what we have, and that is
Right.
you,
Oh, thank you.
your music, like everything. So after college, you decided to go back home to New York.
I did. I mean, I had enough of the South. The South is cool, but I was ready to hit back to my hometown. I love New York. I mean, I could see myself, if it's not New York, it's got to be someplace in Europe or Africa. Like it's going to be international for me. But I love New York so much. I can be bi-coastal and everything, but my home base, I think, is going to always be like New York, whether it's Brooklyn. Well, mostly Brooklyn. Let's just go with Brooklyn. That's the only borough I see these days.
Well, I hear that Brooklyn is a very good place.
I love Brooklyn. So cultural, rich.
Yeah, I got the opportunity to be in Brooklyn at one point in my life when
Nice.
I was going to sign with a very, very large record label when I was younger.
Nice.
And they had me in Brooklyn in some studios doing some demo work. Yeah, and what I loved about Brooklyn was that it was its own entity. I think all the boroughs of New York are just their own entities. Like it's like, oh, you got like what I'm saying is like people could live in Brooklyn and never go to any other borough.
Yeah, definitely a fact. Definitely a fact. I mean, I'm the type of Brooklyn guy that like I'm in the city, I'm in Harlem, I go all over, I go where the party's at, I go where the fun is at. But there's a lot of people who do live in Brooklyn who take that mentality. It's like, I'm not traveling 45 to an hour to get to Harlem. Like, I'm not doing that. I'm not taking the train. I got to get back home. Like, so different people handle it differently. But I love Brooklyn. Out of all the boroughs and if you even Long Island, we're a part of Long Island technically because we're on the tip, and we share it with kind of like Queens, but ain't nothing like Brooklyn, y'all. I mean, come on. We got the best rappers out there. Look, the most legendary rappers out in the game right now. I mean, and it's not even like one rapper.
No.
It's so consistent across the board. The richest rapper right now, Jay-Z.
Yeah.
Where is he from? Brooklyn. The most relevant, like legendary, iconic female rapper, like Lil Kim. Like who can really, and Queens got some stuff too. Nicki's in Queens and 50s in Queens. So yeah, but Brooklyn,
New York. It's just
New York. We gotta just shout out New York. Yeah, you're right.
New York, because I once heard a producer tell me and my best friend when we were in this scene that the one thing about New York and all the boroughs is that you can go multi-platinum in New York before you ever reach any other state. And I was just like, wow. They were like, yeah, there's that many people. Yeah, it's that you can literally go multi-platinum in New York alone. And
it's hard. There's always that curse that like you're never really relevant in your home city until you are, like that's the problem sometimes because I don't know if New York necessarily receives you as much as they should before the world receives you. Yeah. But once you go back home, it is all love.
Yeah. So, oh my God. So okay. So you come back home.
Yeah.
What was your degree in?
Chemistry.
See, you a smart one. See, I was going for biology. But of course it was cut short. Alas, it's okay. I'm okay today. So
listen, blessed and highly favored.
Yeah. So chemistry, tell me.
Yeah.
You really were a brain.
Well, I mean,
a brain. Let's say it.
My dad, he studied pharmacy and he was a pharmacist for many, many years.
Mm-hmm.
He recently retired, but he did some weird stuff during the summertime. We would have to write book reports and do science experiments and stuff like that, which I hated at the time. But like, honestly, in retrospect, I think it was a great move on his part because I was able to really retain a lot of the information. And I have a brain for retention. Like I like to look up stuff on Google and just like random stuff, like, what vitamin does this or what hormone does this. Like I've always been that type. And before Google, it was like, AskJeeves.com. And before Ask Jeeves, I was going to a library and finding it out in books. So I've always been that type. Like I've always been like really into my studies and stuff. I mean, I did way better in high school than I did in college. So college was real for me. Like college was an eye-opening experience. So chemistry was not the easiest subject to master, but I thank God I finished in 4 years, and I enjoyed chemistry. The part I enjoyed the most was lab. And the funniest part is that you spent the most time in lab, but you got the least credit for it, which sucked,
Yeah.
because it was like, yeah, you're spending like hours in lab, you're doing all this lab work, but you're only getting 1 credit hour as opposed to 3 for like a regular course. But I enjoy, like, we made like cologne, you know, scents. We made like let's say banana, you know, orange, whatever. Like you could make that with an experiment, you know, compounds, organic chemistry.
Yeah.
And I find it real interesting. Like, you know, I like chemistry better than a lot of the subjects. I had a passion for it. I didn't want to be a doctor or nothing like that, but I knew I liked compounds and reactions and stuff like that. And to this day, like, I make smoothies, I make like a bunch of different things. And just the way I can calculate stuff in my head with like ingredients and stuff, it's amazing how chemistry factors into a lot of that stuff, you know?
You know what I love too? I love that you came back to New York with a degree that was going to make sure you could take care of yourself.
Oh yeah. I've always been a self-sustained person. Like, I mean, I like to, you know, I like to make moves when it comes to certain things. And it definitely was helpful for sure. Like, you know, there's only so much your parents could do. And then after a while, you just got to do it yourself. So
yeah.
Yeah.
So explain to me, what do you like to do for fun now that you're here? You got your fraternity, you got your college degree, and one of the hardest subjects to get a degree. Let's just say, let's say that, and you're back home and you run around New York and hit my cash app.
Send a little love to my cash app.
That's one of his songs, guys. That's why I said it.
Yeah. For fun, I mean, I'm out in these streets. And right now I'm in DC. Like, you know, I'm probably gonna be out a day brunch or day party, whatever. I like to just get out on the scene. I like to hang out with my girls. Like, I like a beautiful girl on my arm, you know, like, not romantically, but like, I just like beautiful energy around me.
Though. It goes with your aesthetic though, because you're beautiful.
Well, it's funny because I'm, you know, the aesthetic is cool, but I don't like look for friends based on like beauty. I look based on energy. I'm an empath.
They just so happen to be bad bitches. I get
it. But I mean, there's some bad bitches who have bad energies, and I've encountered that too. And those people don't last in my circle. But the ones who have lasted are people who have genuine spirits, and like I can hang out with and have a real good time and know they're solid, know that they're not talking bullshit about me behind my back, know that there's no drama. And if there is something that we communicate as adults, like those are just how people I find myself hanging around. And I have friendships that lasted 10, 15 years because of that, you know, and just happen to be beautiful people, like, you know, people who go through shit just like anyone else, but have beautiful energy. So yeah, I like to go out with friends like that and have a good time. I mean, I like a lot of things outdoors. Like I'll go skiing. I like to travel, you know what I'm saying? I'm in different countries. I was just in Tulum, Mexico. Like I was in, you know, I like to go around the US. I do road trips a lot. I'm a real outdoors kind of guy. Like I like camping. I like hiking. I like stuff like that. You know, I like real, I don't want to say it's a manly man type of thing, but it's more so like I like to keep busy. And I like to be eccentric with it, you know?
You're adventurous.
Adventurous.
What you saw,
that's what I'm looking for.
The way you saw my face when I did that. What's your birth sign?
Guess.
Tell me.
I mean, I come across, I believe in horoscopes.
Sagittarius.
So my sisters are Sag, so I understand them really, really well. But I understand horoscopes, and I think there's truth to people being born in the same like sun and moons and things like that. But I don't think people should live their lives by it. But I am a Leo. You know what I mean?
I should have known that. I should have picked that.
Yeah, I'm a Leo.
Yeah, but
and then I'm also.
Yeah, go ahead.
Now I'm a year of the dragon. So imagine all that fire just coming in.
No, and the reason why is, you know, I look at it this way. The zodiac is like a sock.
Yeah.
You put it on, you take it off.
Right.
It helps to complete an outfit, but it's not the entire outfit.
What's your sign?
I'm a Libra, balanced.
Okay, Libra. Love that.
Hardworking.
That's the scale, right? The scale?
Yeah, hard work.
I love that.
We never back down from a fight.
Yeah.
We got to do things our way.
Yeah.
You know, which is why I walked away from that lucrative deal. Because I said, you mean tell me I'm going to do all this work and you bitches go on it? On
the masters, you know, it's a different thing.
I said, I don't that doesn't sit right with me. And they say, oh, you're making a mistake. You're the stupidest man I've ever met. You're crazy. Go home.
Right.
Watch your mental health. Like they said all of the worst things to me. They're kicking themselves now, but they're kicking themselves now. I had a conversation with my old A&R and he was like, I knew it. I knew you could sing like that. I knew it.
Right.
So, hey.
That's unfortunate. And these like big label, back companies and A&Rs, I mean, it's a specific thing they're looking for. But at the end of the day, like, you look at a lot of these artists and yeah, they have fame, they have notoriety, but then the masters is really what it comes down to. You really have to be in that game. And I know people who are in the industry, and I have really close friends who work for record labels. And when the budget comes, everyone's happy. When the budget's there, everyone's happy. But when it starts time to pay people back and people start losing relevancy and things, then things start to change real quick. And I don't ever want to be in a position like that. I haven't been offered any kind of multi-platinum deal, nothing like that. I have been in talks with different kinds of like representations and management companies and things like that, but nothing really sat well with me the way I'm doing it right now with my team. So until that happens, I can't speak too deeply on it, but I feel bad, I think, for artists who are trapped in those kind of deals that don't really make sense for them and don't support them, their independence and their ability to make music. Like that's what we're doing this for, to really create,
and to get paid from what we create.
Correct. Yeah, to make a living from it.
Fairly.
Right.
So is it safe to say that you're an independent artist?
I am. I'm indie.
So indie. And what's so crazy? I hear you. I plan to be indie all of my life.
Right.
Yeah, I plan to be indie. Do you plan?
That's the new wave. That's the new wave.
Is. I mean, it really is. It really is. Social media changed everything.
Yeah, you see a lot of these rappers going back, buying back the rights to albums, buying back their rights to phrases and trademarks and all kinds. Like people are starting to realize like that's where the money's at. Kanye West is a genius of a man. He was offered, I think, $100 million from Apple to do Donda, and he turned the deal down. Sometimes like that money coming up front, and he's in a position where he could do that. But you have a hungry artist who's coming up who gets offered a big multi-million-dollar deal, not knowing they actually owe so much more in the back end and that they don't own their actual rights. I mean, of course you're going to run to it and not really look at the fine print. Some people will, but most people, when they see the fine print, it doesn't matter because they want that fame so badly. Fame kind of outweighs like the success of what they think their music could actually do. And so, when I love when artists can gain back that hold on their music, but when they don't have it, it sucks for them. It really, really does.
No, I thank you for saying what you were saying. That's why I was just like, thank you. Because the thing is like, people need to understand that fame is nothing. Do you know that most people that are famous are not wealthy, and most people that are wealthy are not famous?
Unless they get a window of opportunity to get, like, for instance, Cardi B, she started out loving hip hop. She was a famous person first, right? I don't think that she made money doing what she did, working in the clubs and stuff, but I don't think she was a wealthy person from loving hip hop, but she used that platform and she was smart. She cross-sectioned herself into a different lane and has established her superstardom and her wealth. So, I mean, she's a rare case, I think, when it comes to like fame leading to like wealth. And if you use your platform correctly, you can. But I want to establish my wealth really first before I can. Notoriety to me is cool, but that's not my goal ultimately. Like I definitely want to make a living out of music and be happy about it.
Yeah, no. Even that you brought up Cardi. I remember Cardi posted a video to her social media, and she was talking about how her bills allegedly were $300,000 a month, and she was complaining because in and out of the studio, up and all down, and she's like, these people, you think that this life is glamorous and it's not. And she talked about how cutthroat the industry was and how you needed to watch yourself. And I'm saying allegedly. I'm saying allegedly because she pulled the video down. So, we may never see it, but I remember her going through that. And I remember looking and I'm just like, yeah, like one thing. And, I'm 39, I'll be 40 this year. So I've been.
Oh, happy birthday.
Thank you. It's not till September, but,
okay.
But, I said that to say this. I've been in this business, especially behind the scenes, for 20 years. And during that time, I learned a lot from paying attention. There were some out front opportunities that came to me that were lucrative. But my inability to get a handle on my mental illness, it actually saved my life because I didn't sign anything crazy,
Right.
Then when I was able to, take the 15 years that I've taken to get the treatment and the help and the therapy, now I'm in a better headspace. And now I look up and I'm like, oh, you own everything. Like, I had a celebrity psychic. His name is Boots Durango. He met me about 3 years ago. And he asked me, he said, your fame scares you. And he was like, he didn't ask me why, but he told me, he's like, your fame scares you. And it does. Fame to me is a false promise.
Right.
A false promise. Because my thing is, my attitude, being a Libra, being balanced, being the scales is, okay, you're praising me now, you're clapping, I'm good now, but am I going to have this in 40 years?
Right.
See, I'm thinking about my retirement. I'm thinking about not even just my retirement, my quality of life for the rest of my life. I don't care if an album does well. I don't care if a song or an album does well now. Like, no, I need to be able to make money off of everything I do until I expire at 85 years old. Right. And a lot of artists don't think like that. And you kept saying it too. It's not about the front end. It's about the back end. That's the back end. The back end is where you make your money. But, I just love it. You're proving to me, because this is our first formal conversation. You're proving to me that you are just as beautiful, intelligent, and knowledgeable as I thought you were.
Oh, thank you.
No, you're proving it.
Thank you.
You're very welcome, because you're proving it, because you're coming out of your mouth and you're talking like, no, like this ain't the way to do it. And you got to watch this and you got to watch that and you got to watch that. And that comes from, like you said, the researcher in you. You're going to look into it. And like you said, you're going to read the fine print. Like I don't play around. The first thing, like if somebody hands me anything, I learned this from my lawyer. If someone pushes a contract at you across the table, the contract already is in their favor to protect them.
Right.
So, I learned that if they push a contract at you, you push one right back.
Right.
And then y'all read each other's contracts and fine print. And then from there, you start to deliberate.
Yeah, artists skip a lot of negotiation. I mean, people don't understand the power of negotiation. It's like, they're so quick to want to just do it. And it's like, I get it. You'll be up on the stage, you'll be, in everyone's lips for about a couple of years. And then what happens when that dies down? Then it's like, how do you make a real coin off of that? Like, I don't know. I mean, I got to ask the artists, I guess, who are there now, who are doing it, who are household names, but aren't worth more than, 1 or 2 million. I mean, 1 or 2 million is cool, but why not go for wealth? Why not go for long-lasting generational wealth?
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. It's really unfortunate that our industry is what it is. Because what happens is it's an image, and what people don't understand is they don't too much care about the artist that is in front of the people right now. That could be that could be anybody. They can make them look and sound and feel and act any way they want to. That's not where they make their money. They make their money because the public, people from all over the world, young children are inspired by that artist. So they're going to come to the record label, chasing a dream. So now they got all these talented people that they don't have to look for. They're just coming and signing up and not understanding the full gravity of the situation. And it's so funny that we're talking about this, but I'm glad that we are, because you're a musician and you're letting me know that you know what the hell you're doing. Now, having said that, you do a lot on your own. You don't only just sing and write and create, you produce your own music. That means the beats, that means everything. How did you get into that? Are you self-taught?
Self-taught. I mean, like I said, I like to research a lot of things. So back in 2010, when I graduated and I came back to New York, I started writing I was writing music all the time, but I started composing real verses, stanzas, doing the whole thing. And I was shopping around. I actually started managing a couple independent artists, a couple different names in New York. And I was shopping around beats for them. And I realized it was so expensive to really buy beats for artists, but I was playing the manager role. So I'm like, let me invest in my artists. And I was writing the music for them and writing really good verses and stuff like that. But then the artists themselves weren't working as hard as I would have liked them to, miss studio dates, miss stuff. So like I said, why am I spending my budget and my time and effort into another artist who is not really taking it serious as I think I would take it? So I said, forget that. So those relationships kind of died out and I started like focusing on my own. And I was like, you know what? I don't want to pay for beats. Like I'm a real, like, I don't consider myself frugal, like as in cheap. I'm frugal as in I'm smarter with like what I'm doing with my money. So like, I like to, I enjoy nice things like everyone else. But when it comes to trying to find a way to scale down costs, especially if you're really making music and you're really trying to throw things out, I was like, you know what? What's separating me from the guy down the street who's making these? Like these beats sound easy to me. Let me just get into it. So I bought a MIDI keyboard in 2014. I looked online. At the time, it was like a lot of YouTube stuff. I looked online and looked at tutorial videos of how to set up like the MIDI, set up the mic, what to actually like buy to create a home studio. And at the time, home studios were just now coming to be a thing. Like the home studio artists, like Soulja Boy made a way for that back when he was, but people still weren't onto it like that. Even when he came out, he found a success. It was like, oh, so that's Soulja Boy's thing, but like it wasn't duplicated a lot.
Yeah.
And I started like doing it in my basement and started doing it in my apartment. And I just started like creating like these melodies and things would be in my head all the time that like when I would write the songs to melodies, I would like, create the beat, then I would do it in reverse and write the song first and create it started informing each other. And I realized, rule of 10,000 hours, the more you practice something, like the more perfect it becomes. Cause I've listened to some of the beats I created back in 2014 and I'm listening to some of the complexities of like what I'm doing these days. And I mean, it's night and day. It's night and day and it's repetition and learning. So, I create a lot of house inspired beats, a lot of soul R&B that's mixed with like what I like to call electro soul. So it's electronic. I'll do trap, I do like trap kits and drum kits. And I just keep learning and I downloaded Reason, Propeller Head. So that's what I used to record as well as like create beats. So it started to really take shape and take form. And my sound is really like a thing I think a lot of people recognize now when they hear a certain thing, they're like, oh, okay, that's Kid Lit, cool. And I love that. I love that for it because it really shows like the growth that I've had over the years,
Yeah. Do you sell any of your beats?
I have sold, and what I've tried mostly to do, because I'm out on these streets a lot. I mean, I've sat in rooms with some really big names and I've gotten some numbers in my phone book, some big names, and I've tried to shop around some beats. I haven't hit like a big ticket just yet, but my names are in people's mouths and I know that like, beats that I've sent are in their inboxes. So, I mean, you never know. Like if I hear my beat, I'll know my beat is playing. So like if somebody tries to chop and screw and do something weird, like I'm gonna know my beat's playing. So a lot of my stuff is actually out there. And while it's not like I'm not the Kanye West right now, I mean, he had to start somewhere. So it's just a matter of getting somebody really big on a beat. And that's the production side of me, but also I do the music. So like being an artist is also important to me. So I try to balance both of them,
Yeah, I think you're doing a wonderful job.
Oh, thank you. You too. Thank you so much.
I really do, because it's so crazy too, because your music is so full. Well, the music that I gravitate to is so full of energy.
Thank you.
So full of electricity, which is kind of funny because you're a chemist.
Yeah.
So you screw
that is true. That's true.
With atoms and protons and electrons all the time.
And that's chemistry. When you hear sound, audible sound, like pitch, getting the right pitch, all of that is your voice creating a sound is actually a chemical reaction.
Yeah.
Like you listening to music, hitting your eardrum and processing it to your body. These are all chemical reactions. Understanding and feeling emotion when it comes to like certain types of music, crying or dancing, that's all chemical reactions happening in your body, the adrenaline rush and everything. So that's real. I never thought about it, but that's real accurate. Yeah. 100%.
Oh, so tell me, I love what you said, because I'm in the process of, when this money is where I need it to be, leaving the country.
Okay.
Because I started in Paris, like that was my place where I
love that. I love Paris. I want to go back.
Yeah, exactly. So I was going to say, how often do you get to go abroad, and have you ever gone abroad to play your music, perform?
I love going abroad. Abroad is one of my favorite things. And yes, I played a set in Tulum. I actually made a really good friend. Shout out to Asai. Like, that's my boy in Tulum. He's one of my really good friends now. I made a lot of connections while in Tulum. Shout out to Sophia, shout out to Oana, shout out to Alana, shout out to all the people that I met in Tulum. And shout out to my friends who I went to Tulum with, Ray and Weef and all the rest of y'all. Like, I've had great experiences overseas. I had some time in Paris. I had some time in Ibiza, Formentera. I remember doing stuff in Italy. While I was in Italy, I did like a whole tour around the place, and I played a set in one part. I think it was like the south of Naples, so it was someplace in Naples. And I went to Capri. I played my music from people all the way in Europe to people all the way in South America. If you look at my fan base and some of my statistics, like when I actually look and break it down, there are people who are really all over, and Brazil is hitting right. Like, I did the collaboration with Nela, who, she is a Portuguese, but Mozambique. Like, she's from both of those places. And, when I collaborated with her, like, that took off. My market in Brazil took off. But also, I've collaborated with another artist, Sincero. I just did the Happy Birthday song. And that took off in Brazil a lot. Like, I have a lot of hits in Brazil right now when it comes to like the sounds and the rhythms that they enjoy in that country. So I've never been to Brazil, which is funny, but that's on the list. Like, Brazil has the most beautiful men and women. Like, I mean, just a beautiful country. I want to go to Brazil, but I've done that. Africa's on my bucket list. Like, I want to go to South Africa. I want to go to Nigeria. I want to go to Ghana. Like, those are some places I really want to go. I've been to the Caribbean, so I've done all that. And I played my family, who obviously lives in the Caribbean, have played my music. And I can see the stats sometimes. Whenever I see Trinidad, Tobago, Ghana come up, I know it's probably my family showing people stuff. So yeah, international is where I see myself being a real internationally based artist. Like, I don't see myself necessarily staying in the States, and I see myself catching fire overseas first. Like, London is a big, like, I love the grime culture. Like, the grime culture is sick. Like, I've connected with artists who do grime in like Japan, Tokyo, and just random places. On Instagram is a powerful tool.
Yes.
And I've tried to collaborate a lot with international artists. I have a couple of collabs out there with some international artists. So it's one of the things where, like, if I'm called, I'm answering. Like, I'm there. You know what I mean? Like, I don't mind going overseas. That's a big thing for me. I've been to Lebanon. Lebanon was dope. Like, a lot of places out there that would probably like really vibe with the music.
You know what I love, and I know now, as you continue to get this smoke, these little record labels gonna come knocking on your door, and you're gonna be like, oh, now that I'm somebody, now that y'all see I'm somebody, now
right? That's how it is.
Now you want to enslave me.
Right, that's the word for it, right? Enslave. It's crazy.
You want to enslave me? Oh.
Well, that's what they wait for. They wait for stats. They wait for, like, big hits. It's very rare you see them take nobody out of some place and just like create a star.
Right.
That comes once every so often, but they want to see that you can stand on your own 2 feet, and then they want to take credit for it, which sucks.
Okay, let's play this game. Let's see how shady I can. Let's play this game.
Queen of Shade, right?
Let's play this game. Everybody gonna know too, because I'm gonna be shady.
Yeah.
Allegedly, I'll say it that way. I'll start it with allegedly, because folk can deny whatever they want to deny.
Right.
Allegedly, when I put out my first song, it was called Black Stilettos. And it was just about me, like the whole story behind it was just me taking my rightful place. That's what it was about, me taking my rightful place. A certain celebrity musician reached out to me through someone else. I was at that time trying to collaborate with a designer in New York. She wasn't from New York, but I can tell you her name. Her name was Jacinta Ligon.
Okay.
She's a very dope designer. And, you know, I saw her, she was trying to get her clothing on like famous people and things like that. And I was just starting out. But so I was in talks with her because she really was very pricey, especially for a beginner's budget. But she saw something in me. So we were trying to like, you know, get it together, work it together, find, you know, how much can you have? How much? It was that kind of situation. How much do you have? How much? Oh, we get you this. So she calls me one day with someone else on the phone. And that someone, who shall remain nameless, is in jail right now.
Okay.
But he, you know, wanted me to go on tour with him. And he was supposed to be doing some stuff with another famous artist, won't say her name. But I said no. And I was asked why. And I said, and I quote, Mr. Such and Such, I'm saying no because I am not a lunchbox. I did not prepare this entire meal inside for you to come along, slap your name on the outside and say that you made it.
Right.
That, oh, you're a fool, you're an idiot, you'll never make it, da 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 da. Click. And then their whole life fell apart. And I'm gonna be real shady. Ready for the real shady? Here
okay. The punchline.
From the real shady. Y'all killing me. It's my fucking life. just some hints on who it was. But
right.
Y'all killing me with this.
Okay.
Okay. But
okay.
Yeah, okay. But yeah, but I learned then, that was my very first song. My very first song. And I learned, oh, you got something here.
Yeah. And you do. Special, for sure.
Like literally.
Main character energy.
Yeah, I have two producers. My first producer's name is Robert Wynn, and he was amazing. We made a lot of music together. He always used to say to me, it's a blessing, Bjorn, that you don't sound like anyone else.
Right.
You sound like yourself because of your uniqueness, you'll get far in the industry. You'll be able to do it as you have a distinct sound. You know, you don't remember of anyone, you know, and I never really understood what he meant until I started to really get into the thick of music. And then I was like, oh, that's what he meant.
Now I get it.
Individuality. And I'm bringing this up because you definitely have a lot of individuality with your voice.
Well, thank you.
Like you said, people know your voice. Your voice is amazing. Like you could do so much. Get it? When I first started, my first paying gig to using my voice, I was a female phone sex agent for 2 years.
I love it. Hello.
Yes, but I say that because you could so do the guy version.
Oh God, you know the funny thing is, people have said that for sure about like the, you know, on my better days, on my freakier days, I'll probably
it's like when you say things, even when you're song, we talk about your Cash App and stuff like that. Like the way you say it is so, it's smooth. It's smooth.
Thank you.
Like silk. It's smooth. Like
Thank you.
Another word that comes to my mind, smooth like cashmere.
Cashmere.
Yeah.
Cashmere.
Yeah. Because everybody
have to make a song like that.
Yeah, everybody says silk, but your voice is more like cashmere. Like it's
Thank you.
It's really
a little bit more pricey.
Oh, a lot more pricey, babe. A lot more pricey. So
thank you.
So tell me, what are you currently working on? Because I saw, the reason why I'm asking is because I was on your social media and the beginning of a song that's getting ready to drop, he was spinning, and I just love what you were doing with your fucking voice. I was like, oh,
thank you.
You're right. You are very bold and very daring. You take risk. And a lot of artists don't, and you do. And your risks are always rewarded. So tell us, what are you working on right now? What's dropping?
I'm actually working on pushing a video for a birthday in Brazil. Okay. So I'm working on a lot of video content right now and planning, you know, those to be released, because I need to have a little bit more visuals. Like I did the last one I think I did was Bussy Bop, and before that was
my song.
You know, I love Bussy Bop, and that was a fun video. Shout out to Karma. Shout out to, you know, the whole video production team. Shout out to everybody who was on that. Like, it was a really, really, you know, King actually is the director. And, you know, he actually shot that as well. He's the one that filmed it. And Karma's the one who did the choreography. Rich also was the background dancer, and shout out to the whole cast. I mean, it was a phenomenal video. We shot it right in Central Park, in New York, but it was fun. And I love videos like that. Like, I'm coming up with a lot more concepts. I actually got introduced to King through Naila, and me and Naila did like about three videos together, and those were also really, really fun. Shout out to all my friends who were part of the production, because videos are not easy to produce and they're very costly, but you know, when you have something, you have it forever, and that's a blessing. So I'm working on some stuff like that. I'm working on some photo shoots right now to get some new fresh content. I'm working on a new song. You know, you heard the preview for it. I have a song, Chanel #1, that I'm gonna be dropping soon, and I have another song. It's gonna be a series of songs. I've been doing a lot of like singles drops and stuff like that. I haven't really compiled like a second album just yet. It will be the third version of Litty Kitty Volume 3. Yep. So that's gonna be like the next level in my production. But I've been trying to really compile and get things together and trying to do that. I'm also working on, you know, some upcoming performances. So, you know, New York is now starting to come back on the scene with like live things. Before it was virtual, and to me, I'm more of an in-person kind of guy. So my performances really hit more. I'm not the virtual guy. I'm not the guy who's gonna get on, you know, on any kind of platform and do things virtually. I mean, you adapt as time comes along, but I knew that like we would be getting through that. Yeah. So it's very important to me to really connect with audiences live. And so, you know, once that starts coming back throughout the world, like I can see myself really hitting the stage. And so I've been working out with our management on some things like that. And just really trying to get more fresh ideas and fresh things. I really want to get my production on some more people. You know, if you are an artist and you're looking for some production and you really got what it takes, and you got hot bars and, you know, a great voice, like definitely hit me up. I have some really good production ideas, and I've been just trying to like really focus on the next level, like just really taking my music to the next level.
Yeah, I like it. I'm here.
Thank you.
Since you segued right there, and I love that. Tell everybody where they can find you, these artists. Tell them where they can find you on social media.
You can find me at KIDLIT Music. So kidlitmusic.com is my website. That's my handle on virtually everything. I am on Instagram. I am on Twitter. Rarely active on Twitter, but more active on Instagram. I'm on TikTok. KIDLIT Music, Kidlit Music. You can find me on Google. You know, you can find me on most things, most platforms.
Yeah, I love that. So Kidlit, give me 3 words that inspire you and empower you.
Okay. God inspires me and empowers me. That's one. I owe a lot to God and to, you know, and to what he inspires me to do each and every day, waking up and just getting through life. Like, God is one. Spirit is another that empowers me and definitely inspires me, feeling like, you know, connecting with spiritual beings and connecting with other, because we're all spiritual beings. So connecting with and finding, you know, who in my tribe really belongs in that category with me. And what else? 3 words. Royalty. I mean, in theme of Queen of Shade, like royalty. I feel like, you know, we are royal. You know, our melanin means something, and our soul and the experiences that we carry into the world means something. So, you know, we got to treat ourselves as such and move as such, just in light of being royal, and embrace that and really believe it, because we are royal. We're royal creatures. We are royal. We're born of God, and we got to spread that royalty throughout the world. So,
oh my God, I have enjoyed you today.
I've enjoyed you too. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it wasn't. You see, I'm not tough. I'm not tough. I don't ask you how many baby mamas you got. I don't do all of that.
Nah, I got
That's messy. That's messy. I don't like messy. Why be messy when you can be so?
I love it. This was such an inspirational, fun. I love what you're doing. I actually checked out some of your other interviews. You know, I love your page. Your page is like central for like the finest porn stars, the finest like, you know, bodybuilders. Like every time I search your page, there's always some like production of some great looking man, just beautiful man. I loved your interview with there was a porn star that you did an interview with that he was Zaddy Corvinus.
Oh, Zaddy. Yes.
I loved his because he was so well spoken and he was just like his mind. I loved his mind. And then I also watched Deshaun, like that guy, beautiful guy, strikingly beautiful guy. Yeah. Chuck Hostin. Yeah. I love those interviews. So I checked out a few of your other things and I really, really loved it. So hopefully I like matched up the energy, you know what I mean?
You did. And with the aesthetic and that
Thank
voice,
you.
The voice,
Thank you.
did an amazing job. And you actually helped me feel a lot better because I had an interview last night and it was so amazing with a duo, and they're a dance duo. They're multi-viral. They've worked for RuPaul's Drag Race. They've done so many things. I was their first interview ever where they got to tell
Congratulations.
Look at that. It wouldn't convert. I'm having problems with it converting. So I was down because I'm like, I can't ask them to do it again. Technology
can be our greatest friend or our greatest foe. And like, trust me, I've been there, done that.
I'm working on it. I'll get it. It's saved. So I have it saved. I'm just gonna have to hire somebody to come in and show me what I don't know.
And figure it out. Yeah, it'll come together. I believe it for you. Yes. We're gonna will it. We're gonna will it.
Yeah, we're gonna will it together that it converts.
Yeah.
Well, don't go anywhere. Ladies and gentlemen, you have heard the vocal stylings of Mr. Kid Lit. Say goodbye, but don't go anywhere. I love how you did that. Hold on. So did you enjoy? I hope you did. Please like, comment, subscribe, share, and don't forget to cash at me at the Queen of Shade. I am your favorite content creator, right? Right. You want to see more of this content, right? Right. Cash at me. I love you. Mwah.
I've got my black stilettos on. Don't you make me take them off. I'm assuming first position. Gonna show you I'm a boss. I've been given 60 seconds just to put my thing down. I'll have you wanting my stilettos by the time I turn around. Turn that TV down.